Okay, so like I said, I'm not worried about key features. Key features mean the important stuff, okay? And some important stuff. That's what we're looking at today. We're looking at 4 key features for graphs. So every graph that we do next week is either gonna look like one of these 4 guys. Now, like I said, there's dots in the middle. We're not worried about the middle stuff. We'll talk about that next week. I'm just worried about the ends, right? So let's start with the first one. If the degree, so remind me one more time, what is a degree? When I talk about degrees for polynomials, what does that mean? What's a degree of a polynomial? Not like degree of an angle, that's different, but degree of a polynomial. Kind of. Before that, though, what is it? Like if I'm looking at something, how do I know what the degree is?
If it's up or down?
No, not so much the picture, just the, so like if I, let me give you, there you go, right? If I look at this guy here, what's the degree for this guy? 6. It's the biggest exponent. The degree is the biggest or highest exponent. So for this guy, the degree is 6, right? And is 6 a positive or negative number? Or sorry, is the degree even or odd, I should say, even or odd? So is 6 an even number or an odd number? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's what we look at when we're going to look at those. Okay. Leading coefficient. Leading coefficient means if it's in standard form, what's in front? Is it a positive or a negative? That's what it means. Okay, so if it's in standard form, what's in front? If both of those are, if they're even and positive, the graph's going to look like that. Okay? The arrows are going to look like that. So, end behavior. End behavior means what happens at the end. Well, the end has arrows. Where are those arrows going? They have 2 options, straight up, straight down. That's the only options they have for these guys. So the first one, as x approaches infinity. As x approaches infinity. So think of a number line. If I want to go to infinity, which way am I going to go, right or left? That's where the positives are, right? If I keep going in the positive direction, eventually, well, you'll get bigger and bigger, right? And I'm on my way to positive infinity. That's the same thing. So let's say I'm going to the right. Where is the arrow going to take me, up or down? Up, right? If I'm going to the right, so in other words, if I'm going this way, let me get there we go. So if I'm going this way, what arrow is it going to be, the right arrow or the left arrow? The right. And that arrow is going up. That's why this guy is positive infinity. So this means to the right. The opposite is left. That's negative infinity, right? If I'm going to the negative infinity, that means I'm going left. So I go in the opposite direction. So if I go left, where am I going? Up or down? Up again, right? That's why this guy is positive infinity, because they're both arrows are going up. The ends are both going up. The ends are arrows. Even, negative. So let's say it's an even and it's negative. It's got the opposite look. It's kind of a reflected look, right? So as I'm going to the right, which way is the arrow going, up or down? Down. Now change it. If I'm going to the left, which way is the arrow going? Down as well. That's why both of these guys are negative infinities. Okay? Odd. Odd positive. If I go to the right, which way is the arrow going? Up. If I'm going, that's why this guy's positive infinity. If I'm going to the left, which way is the arrow going? Down. That's why it's negative infinity. That's for odd positive. Odd negative, if I go to the right, which way is the arrow going? Down. If I go to the left, which way is the arrow going? Positive. Up. That's where those guys come from. So if it says as x approaches infinity, that means you're moving to the right. If it says x approaches negative infinity, that means you're going to the left. So in other words, right arrow and left arrow. Okay, that's the easy way to do it. Okay? That's the notes there. We're going to use that to answer the inside. The inside of the notes. All right? So 1A. 1A. First question, degree. So what is the degree? What number is the degree for this guy? 7. Is that an odd number or is that an even number? Odd. So we put odd in there. If this guy is in standard form, which it is, this guy is actually in standard form. Is it positive in front or negative in front? Positive. So we put a positive there. So then we go to our table. Odd, positive. Odd, positive. That's what the picture is going to look like. So we're going to draw that sketch in here. So it's going to look like that and that. As I move to the right, which way is the arrow going? Up or down? Up. It's going up. So that means this guy is going to be positive infinity. As I move to the left, the arrow's going down this time. That's negative infinity. Done. That's it. That's the 4 things we're going to look at today. That's the only 4 things. Next week we'll talk more about it, but for right now, that's good. Let's go to B. What is the degree? What number is the degree? 6, right? 6 is the biggest power. 6 is an even number. So we're going to put even. What is the leading coefficient? -7, right? -7, good. How do I know that? Because if this was in standard form, this guy would need to be in front. And that guy is negative. Even negative. Picture's going to look like that. Picture's going to look like this. Yeah, go ahead. Even negative. As I'm going to the right, which way is my arrow going? Up or down? Down. So that's negative infinity. As I go in the opposite direction, as I go to the left, which way is the arrow going? Still down. Negative infinity. Done. Okay. Let's go to letter C. Letter C. This one's a little different because it's not in standard form. It's in what we call factored form, right? It kind of looks like after we've done those steps for binomial and trinomial, what we end up with, right? So this is what I'm going to do first. I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to rewrite this guy. So -2. Parentheses are squared. What does that mean if parentheses are squared? It means it's times by itself, right? So that means there's 2 of them. So I'm going to write 2 of these guys. And then there's only, this guy doesn't have a power, so it's just 1. So that's really what it is, right? So now let me ask you the question. Let's do leading coefficient first. In front, do you think it's going to be a positive number or negative number in front? Take a wild guess. And I bet you're going to be right. Yeah, why negative? You're right, it's negative. Why negative? Because it's negative 2 in front, right? So that means it's going to be negative. Here's the tricky one, the degree. What is the degree going to be? Is it going to be positive or negative? How do we do this? Well, to figure this out, we would have to multiply, but I'm not worried about multiplying right now. What would happen if I multiply? I have x to the first, x to the first, and x to the first. What would the biggest power be if I were to do all that? 3, right? Don't I have 3 x's and they all have 1s? What do we do with the powers? Add them, right? If we do like a multiplication box like we've done in the past, right? And I got x minus 1, x minus, like that, right? We add the powers, right? We've done that before. So if I was to do that for all of them, I would get x to the 3rd power. That's the degree there. That would be the degree there. So the degree is odd this time. Odd negative looks like the bottom one on our table. So it would be this arrow and this arrow. As I'm going to the right, which way is the arrow going, up or down? Down. So that means negative infinity. Switch it. If I go to the left, which way is the arrow going? Positive infinity, yep. One more. So we got one more, and then we're going to do I have a check for understanding. Kahoot. We haven't done Kahoot. I don't think we've done it all this year. So I have a Kahoot for this guy. So we're going to do, that'll be it. And then after that, we'll do a Kahoot. We're done. We're done for today. Okay, just because we have some time just to check for understanding, just to make sure we're good, if there's any questions or anything. But let's do this one first. Okay, so the first guy is squared, right? So that means there's 2 of them. So I got to rewrite it. Let me rewrite it. And the second guy is also squared. And each of those guys, x, is just to the first power. So take a wild guess what my degree would be. 4. It would be x to the 4th. Yep, x to the 4th. That is an even number. What would the leading coefficient be? Positive or negative? It would be a positive, right? Because in front, there's a 1 there. There's actually a 1 there we don't write. And it's actually a positive 1. So it's positive. That picture is going to look like the top one on our table. The right arrow going up, the left arrow going up. So as I move to the right, I'm going up or down? Up, positive infinity. Same thing if I'm going to the left, positive infinity. Okay? All right, so tape that into page 24. There should be tape in front of you, and then you need a calculator, or not a calculator, you need a phone or a Chromebook. So grab a Chromebook or use your phone for Kahoot. I'll set that up right now. Okay, so Kahoot.it, or if you have the app on your phone, like I said, if you need a Chromebook, grab a Chromebook if you need one. Just put your first name in there. Just put your first name for your name.